The first 10 amendments to the United States Constitution are known collectively as the Bill of Rights. England and the American colonies had a long tradition of listing out rights considered essential as a means of protecting them from government overreach. The purpose of a Bill of Rights was twofold: to protect the rights of individuals and to limit government power.
So, what were the individual rights protected in the Bill of Rights, and how did they limit the power of the government? This is the story of the origins and purposes of the Bill of Rights.
Several declarations of rights throughout English history influenced the American founders. The Magna Carta of 1215, the English Petition of Rights of 1628, and the English Bill of Rights in 1689 protected basic liberties such as trial by jury, no taxation without consent, free elections, and no cruel and unusual punishment. These documents also limited the power of a monarchical government. During the 1760s and 70s, the American colonists followed this model and created their own declarations that asserted an understanding of their rights as Englishmen to hold the British government accountable. For example, both the Stamp Act, Congress of 1765, and the First Continental Congress issued a Declaration of Rights, and famously, the Declaration of Independence stated that the British government was in violation of the rights of the colonists. After independence, most states created their own bills of rights. However, the national government organized under the Articles of Confederation did not contain a formal Bill of Rights. When delegates met in 1787 to produce a strengthened but still limited national government, the topic of a federal Bill of Rights was raised once again. George Mason proposed to the Constitutional Convention that it consider adding a Bill of Rights, stating that the document was insufficient without one. Mason wrote, "There is no Declaration of Rights in the proposed Constitution, and the laws of the general government being paramount to the laws and Constitution of the several states, the Declarations of Rights in the separate states are no security." His motion was unanimously rejected.
As the Constitution went through the ratification process, the idea of a Bill of Rights was raised again and became central to the debate. Those who opposed the new Constitution were called anti-federalist and believed a Bill of Rights was necessary to protect individual liberties. Many Federalists, such as Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and James Wilson, argued against it, as they felt these rights were already protected by the Constitution, and listing any rights might imply that other unlisted rights didn't exist. It also argued they were unnecessary in a system of popular government, a point of view summarized by Hamilton in Federalist 84.
Eventually, a compromise was reached, and the Federalists who supported the Constitution pledged that a Bill of Rights would be added during the first Congress after the Constitution was ratified and became the law of the land.
During the first Congress, representatives and senators were busy with many pressing issues related to setting up the new government, but James Madison strongly urged them to fulfill their pledge. He personally led the fight for the creation of the Bill of Rights.
Madison assembled a long list of rights that were demanded during the ratification debate and whittled them down to the most essential for Congress to consider. He wanted the Bill of Rights to apply to both the national government and the states to protect citizens, and proposed that they be integrated into the text of the Constitution and not listed separately at the end of the document.
Madison would lose the debate on both counts. However, Congress agreed to 12 amendments and submitted them to the states for ratification. 10 of those amendments, which became the Bill of Rights we know today, were ratified by 1791.
Free exercise of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, the right to assemble, the right to bear arms, due process of law. The Bill of Rights protects all of these and more.
However, in 1791, the Bill of Rights only applied to the federal government and not the state governments, as the Supreme Court affirmed in Barron v. Baltimore. Over time, however, the amendments were slowly incorporated through the 14th Amendment and increasingly limited the ability of state governments to infringe on certain individual rights and liberties.
The Bill of Rights joined the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution as the foundational American documents. These documents protect individual liberties, limit the power of government, and help shape the nation's public consciousness. Throughout the 20th century and into the 21st century, the American people and the Supreme Court would appeal more and more to the Bill of Rights in a variety of debates concerning our essential liberties. For example, In 2019, the Supreme Court agreed with an Indiana citizen who argued that his state government violated the excessive fines clause of the 8th Amendment when it seized his car after he was arrested for transporting drugs. The court found that the value of his car greatly exceeded the maximum allowable fine for the drug offense. In another recent case, a man successfully argued that a Louisiana law that allowed for non-unanimous convictions in criminal trials violated the 6th Amendment, which was applied to the states through incorporation. The Bill of Rights continues to provide Americans with a list of some of their essential rights. How will it continue to protect our individual liberties and limit government power? This has been the story of the origins and purposes of the Bill of Rights.
Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to hit that like button and press subscribe, and we'll see you next time.